Hey guys, Robbie here from CrossFit South Bend. Today I'm here with Coach Megan, and she is going to be telling us about her life with food. So Megan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, first of all, Megan, tell us what food was like for you growing up.
Very traditional cereals for breakfast. My parents both came from farmers, and so they kind of were raised on kind of real whole food initially. So although we had processed things like mac and cheese, ramen noodles was like a big favorite as a kid, and cereals. My mom usually made dinner at night. She'd kind of throw together whatever veggies, meat. We had lots of butter and whole milk and stuff like that. But yeah, I think their background kind of lended itself. The problem is that they also loved food, and food was always around the table. So portion control and active lifestyle was not necessarily part of our life growing up.
Right, okay. So tell us about your journey through healthy eating, like when you first started thinking about healthy eating to how you eat now, and then we'll get to actually how you're eating at the moment.
Okay. So yeah, because we always kind of had food and was always making food, that was always part of my life. Always how I ate. High school, college, you go off and there's a lot of process, a lot of convenience. And then got married and you kind of started playing with food. I realized I liked to cook, but there was still a lot of convenience, like hamburger helpers in the first couple years of marriage. And so you kind of had an idea of what things sort of were healthy, but not a real clear idea. And kids, time, fast forward to about 3 years ago now. I got into the whole 90 with you, and then did food journaling for a year, and took a lot of, I think, what a background was, and then was able just to change and tweak things. And so now it's very much real whole food, minimally processed stuff, trying to get the healthy fats, the quality protein, the veggies. So yeah, I would say the last 3 years have been, I felt really good and confident about my food. And it's nice because I didn't worry so much about the weight, that was always kind of part of food. Like it was more like food was something I had to manipulate to be a certain way or to look a certain way. And so it's kind of been a nice shift for me in the last several years I like my food. It doesn't I know it fuels me, and I'm not so worried about having to take something out or limit. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you are eating now, like what typical foods you eat, and then you brought some meals with you.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I have to preface a little bit that I don't meal prep. I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids, a 12-year-old, a 9, and a 6-year-old. So I'm making dinner every night anyway. So most of our foods are dinners. I make large portions dinner, and then I will sometimes eat that for breakfast, or I'll eat it for sure for lunch. Mike and I take them for lunches. So like I said, dinners are usually, this is a good one to start with. So this is a pork steak that, I don't know, can you see? Pork steak that we had one night, roast potatoes. We love roasting potatoes. I roast sweet potatoes, potato wedges, little potatoes, salt, pepper, whatever seasoning. And then we roast Brussels sprouts, we'll roast broccoli, and then we'll kind of have this. Often we'll have like a lettuce, greens, and have a small side salad on there. If you haven't seen my video on the buffalo chicken patties, or you haven't checked out the recipe, this is my go-to, and we're on the Whole30 right now. So this is like, I make it and I have it in the fridge always. And I put it over greens, and then it comes with like a mayo dressing on top, so the fat, it's super great. This was dinner last night. Cauliflower rice with the teriyaki chicken. There's some chicken on under there, and it had like zucchini and broccoli and carrots and onions and pineapple and all over our cauliflower rice. So it's a lot of veggies, a lot of protein. I am very liberal on my fat when I'm cooking. I like my fat a lot. So, but it varies. So we have like soup. We love soup. We have soup once a week. It's just different every night.
Yeah.
So.
Those look delicious and very well presented. Very easy.
Literally through like it's just leftovers from dinners this week. So
yeah, it was great. So I always in these videos like to talk about kind of unique aspects of someone's life. You know, Andrew was a college student, and you know, Carl's a rugby coach, and all these different things. So you are an anatomy and physiology teacher. You're a mom of 3. You are a CrossFit coach. You're an athlete. You have all these different responsibilities and life things going on. Tell us how healthy eating fits into and relates to that, and time constraints and kids, and just anything you'd like to talk about with relation to that.
I very much have taken on in all of this. It's very easy to become overwhelmed and want to like jump headfirst into everything. So as I was thinking back about things, I've taken on the approach of like put on my oxygen mask first. So that's really where it boils down to, is I figured out what I needed to do for me to feel better personally, better in the gym. And so I made those changes for me, and then Mike was like, okay, if you're making dinner, I'll eat whatever you're making for dinner, but I'm still gonna eat whatever over here. And then he's come on board, come a long way, just, you know, slowly, and now we're getting into the kids. So to help with that, like for me, I like to prep, not meal prep, but like I have to have a plan for the week.
Right.
So I make my menus. It's like my thing. If I don't know what I'm making that week, and I haven't gone and bought into things, it's just, it all falls apart very quickly and it can get ugly. So I make my lists, and then we just, you know, I try to think about what's going on my week, and the easier meals to put together go on those busy nights, and then the ones that take a little bit more time is those nights that I'm not coaching. You know, the Instapot is Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah, those are the nights that like I'm coaching, you know, going on. So a part of it, like really when it comes to food, a lot of it is convenience, but to keep my family happy, like I have to have something that is going to taste good and that the kids are going to be interested in. If the kids aren't interested into it, then life becomes difficult at home. So it's kind of this juggling, like I make it to the quality that I want it to be. I just try to search new recipes to fit the family, the time, or the picky eaters, the little ones. So
good. And you're doing a
Whole 30-ish, is that
yeah.
So this year was the first year, like I said, Mike kind of got on board, and so this year I was like, I'm gonna do a Whole 30 in February after my birthday. And so Mike has been eating really well with us, and he's like, I think we all should. Okay. So I wasn't quite there yet, but the words came out of his mouth, and then it was kind of like, well, let's try it. We'll see. So we are doing a Whole 30 with all 3 kids-ish. Now I have to say there's certain tweaks that it's like not like perfect Whole 30 with kids, but little things here or there that we'll let slide. Like I put some plantain chips in their lunch or something like that. But yeah, the kids are on day 23, 24, something like that. So the real test is today when they come home with their Valentine's Day candy.
Right.
They know they're gonna put it in the cupboard and wait till next week.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's going really well. You know, the buy-in with that, we prepped them a lot before doing the Whole 30. And then some of the buy-in was getting them to look at my recipe books and figure out what they might want to have for dinners. And so then we made the things they wanted for dinners. And short of a couple meals that they're like, lukewarm on, you know, every night they're like, this was good. That was good. And they haven't really balked too much. They do like daydream about donuts and candy and bread, because, you know, I had taken cereal out of the house, but breads, milk, sugar being the big things that they had to get rid of. So, but yeah, I thought I'll give it a week. We'll see how it goes. And we're on 3 weeks now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
For me, it was a success.
Yeah,
it was.
that's huge. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, to, you know, do it just you and Mike, let alone, you know, the entire family, I think that's an amazing accomplishment. So.
Thanks. Yeah, now the tricky part is I have to figure out what I'm gonna, like, where do we go after these 30 days?
Right.
So we'll figure out that.
Cool. Let's talk about nutritional off-roading. So, you know, as you know very well, we typically like to talk about, you know, completely off-plan foods in the context of special occasions. So tell me A, about like special occasions that are meaningful to you in terms of food, and then B, like, what are your favorite, like, I don't care, I just want to have it, whatever it is, like my favorite alpine foods.
Oh, that's a good question. Special occasions, obviously the holidays. But even then, I liked what Brandon had talked about, you know, like if I really want it, like, and where my willpower is and all of that, you know, I can have holidays and still be really good and say no to the dessert.
Right.
There's a certain thing with my mom's rolls at Christmas time, like, yeah. A lot of my special occasions tend to be, I try to like save those for like our anniversary or date nights, and usually they are to a special place that we like to go, like our favorite, like pizza is usually my thing, or wine or something like that with that. So those are my favorites. We have certain things like special occasions like tailgates. Oh, we go camping every year, and like actually the last 2 years have been pretty good though, but I don't know, it's hard because there's a context for everything just to say. But pizza is a good one. Burger, like a really good burger.
Yeah.
And if it's baked goods, like cake, I really like cake. That's my kind of, but I don't eat it all the time, so like it's
very infrequent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are my like
go-tos. It's a good list. I like that list.
Yeah.
It's more me. Okay, well, the thing I'd like to end with, since, you know, you've already mentioned some great advice to people about, you know, put your oxygen mask on first. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your own personal journey through food, or dealing with your family, or any other nuggets of wisdom that you've encountered over the years that you'd like to share with others starting out, maybe?
Yeah, take care of yourself, that's a big one. Every once in a while I'll stop and I'll think about how far I've come, especially in my kitchen. I remember when I was first starting and looking at recipes, and I'm like, coconut amino what? And fish sauce, huh? And, you know, all these things that seemed so foreign. And one of my biggest recommendations is to start little. Like, it doesn't have to be a huge transformation at first. It was, I took this one recipe and I tried the coconut aminos and I made this and I tweaked that and it worked out okay. And then it was just little things along the way. So it doesn't have to be a complete 180 or life-changing immediately. It was, I did a little bit that I could along the way. Like, you do your best until you know better, and then you do better, you know that quote. And so I'm just, okay, well, I'm gonna try this now, and I'm gonna incorporate this. And so, and there's no end point. Like, I'm still learning new things, and I'm still trying new things. So it's kind of a fun, it's just a constant experiment, I think, for me. And I just have fun kind of playing with it and learning more and trying more. I don't know, that'd probably be,
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.